Hi there, this is Ranjit and let's do a Q&A session, and this will be I'm doing this in the first week of June, and I've taken up 15 of the most common questions that I was getting. So let's start with the same. Let's pick up the first question, and this was the first question that I got when I asked you guys for Twitter. I don't know why, but let's answer that. This is by Ramji. He's asking, is the Samsung J7 Max still worth at rupees 15,000? Why? Why, my friend, the Samsung J7 Max when you have far better phones at this price point? If your budget is around 15,000, why not go with the Redmi Note 5 Pro? Yes, availability of that phone is a little bit difficult, I know. Let's say if you can't get that, if you can lower your budget a little bit, even the realme 1 will beat the bands out of this J7 Max Pro in performance and in camera. So definitely no, man. The J7 Max Pro at 15,000, I will still say no, no, no. Anyways, let's move to the next one. This is by Kishore Kumar. Very interesting name. Samsung Galaxy Note 9, he says, your expectation. Yes, the Galaxy Note 9 is going to come out very soon. I don't know if this is going to come out, but there are very strong rumors. Actually, the S9 is going to get that in-display fingerprint scanner that we've seen in the Vivo phone. For example, the fingerprint display is within the phone. So rumors are that S9 is going to get this, but I'm not very sure if the Note 9 will get it. I think so. Samsung now has to put it in their new flagship smartphones, considering companies like Vivo's have actually come out with actual products that work. And actually, guys, it works really well. I was also very skeptical about this in fingerprint display scanning technology. Yes, it's not as fast as a dedicated fingerprint scanner, but again, it is actually good enough for daily usage, and it works most of the time. I would say 95% of the time. So I'm hoping that the Note series will implement this. It's been rumored almost 100% that the S9 will have this technology. So let's move to the next one. This is by Mr. Abhijit. He's asking, what do you expect from the upcoming 60? That means OnePlus 60. The OnePlus 6 just came out, and yes, where is the OnePlus 6? Here is the OnePlus 6. I was using this. I've almost finished its testing. Tested it for almost 2 weeks. We'll post its full review. Yes, this one misses on some of the things, and I feel these will come on the 60. For example, I feel the wireless charging will come to the 60. Also, maybe this in-display fingerprint scanning technology will also come to this OnePlus, because guys, if you don't know, Vivo is sort of a sister brand to the OnePlus. So Vivo can give the technology to OnePlus and they can bring it to the 60. If they do that, it will be a game changer. And I think so OnePlus might also officially give the 60 IP rating. So these are the important things that I think might come to the OnePlus 60 whenever it launches sometime in November or by first week of December. Anyways, let's move to the next one. This is by Tanmay. He's asking, which phone is best for me? He says, I need very good performance and the price should be around 11,000 rupees. If your price point is around 11,000 rupees, I would say the Realme 1 would be my first pick. I would say the performance, the Helio P60 chipset is insane. That's the best performing chipset that you can get at this price point. But if you are a very heavy gamer, I would say, then you can also look at the Zenfone Max Pro. That is also available for 11,000. The thing is that yes, the Snapdragon 636 chipset is not as powerful as the Helio P60 in terms of raw performance, but if you play a lot of games, the GPU is better on the Snapdragon 636. So I would say my pick would be the Realme 1 or the Zenfone Max Pro. These are the two picks I would say for 11,000 rupees. And again, if camera is your priority, the Realme 1's camera is better than the Zenfone Max Pro. Anyways, let's move to the next one. This is by Sudeep. He's asking, what is the difference between Cryo cores and ARM Cortex core? The ARM Cortex cores are reference designs what ARM gives. For example, a Cortex A72, now the upcoming new A76, which is on the higher end. And many of the manufacturers just take that and implement in their design. For example, Samsung with their Exynos processors do that, and other vendors also do that. But with the Cryo cores, what Snapdragon does is that they take that ARM Cortex core, for example, let's say the A72, and they add their own modifications to that, enhance some of the functionality, and those are called the Cryo cores. They optimize it and stuff. So that's the biggest difference. It's built on the ARM Cortex core, but again, Qualcomm adds its own functionality and enhancements and stuff, and that's known as the Cryo cores. Let's move to the next one. This is by Sheikh. He's asking, will the Realme one get the Android P and Asus Zenfone Max Pro M1 will get the Android P? Yes, both these devices are going to get the Android P update. Realme, when they launched the device, they were not very clear, but recently, just about 2 days ago, they announced that the Realme one will also be getting the Android P update. This is by Agniv. He's asking, do you think, a lot of questions about Realme 1, I don't know why. Do you think Realme 1 gives tough competition to Xiaomi in terms of price to performance? Yes, as I've told you initially in the first question also, I think I answered this one. The Helio P60 chipset is actually more powerful compared to the Snapdragon 636. It's slightly below the Snapdragon 660. So yes, if we talk about just the price to performance ratio, yes, it's giving very tough competition to some of the Xiaomi mid-range phone. For example, it easily beats the Redmi Note 5 in terms of overall performance and even in camera. In terms of camera, I would say the Redmi Note 5 Pro in certain situations, the rear-facing camera is better than the Realme 1. But again, if we talk about price to performance, yes, the Realme 1 goes ahead. But the biggest flaw with the Realme 1, as I've even mentioned earlier in the FAQ video, is that it doesn't have a physical fingerprint scanner. So you have to rely on that face unlocking feature. But yeah, for the bank of bug, I would say yes, it's giving very tough competition to Xiaomi, and it's good for us like consumers. Now, Xiaomi was getting a little bit complacent. They increased the price of the Redmi Note 5 Pro. Now, as we have some tough competition from the Asus, and now with this Realme 1, Xiaomi will be also hopefully aggressive in the future, and that's good for us as consumers. This is by Devash. He's asking, is it true that the OnePlus 6 face unlocking is not secure? You can open it by showing a printed photo. It won't work every time, but yeah, in certain situations, the OnePlus 6 face unlocking can be sort of fooled. Particularly if you have a black and white photo, it works a lot better. And I would say face unlocking is not as secure as fingerprint. But I hope OnePlus can implement some features. For example, Honor phones do that with their AI chip with face unlocking. With the face unlocking, the eyes should be open, and when you blink or stuff, they can actually detect that. And only once that is done, they unlock the phone. So if OnePlus implements something like that, then fooling it with just a picture might be difficult. But yeah, as of now, the OnePlus 6 unlocking and others can be actually fooled with the, not in every situation, but in certain situations with a black and white photograph. I hope OnePlus addresses this issue. This is by Vijay. He's asking, since you are a programmer, would you advise people starting a career in the IT industry? Vijay, it's a wrong question, I would say. It depends upon your passion. I was very passionate about computers and programming. That's why I did programming in my early career. So if you're really passionate about programming, when people never used to also pay me, I used to do programming for 15-16 hours, just make shareware applications or just write some utilities, because I loved doing programming. That is the reason I went with programming. So if there is a passion, and initial years, I would say for first 2-3 years, I didn't make any money while doing programming. Only after 4-5 years, and when I developed some websites and a lot of free stuff that I've given to people, after that only I got business. So, but I didn't mind when I was not making a lot of money when doing programming, because I loved doing that. So if you really love programming, go with that. Initially, you might not be able to make a lot of money or whatever, but the satisfaction of doing what you love is great. That's the secret behind my YouTube channel. When I started my YouTube channel, I just wanted to share whatever information I had with you guys. And if you know me, if you've been following me for so many years, you know that I've mentioned this earlier also. During the first 3 years of creating this YouTube channel, and almost every day I was posting a video, I was taking huge losses. So I was losing money while making this video, but I just continued because I liked doing this. And yes, now eventually things have improved. But again, go in a thing if you really have passion for it, not just because somebody else is making money with that or somebody is successful. Do that if you are really passionate about it. Eventually, yeah, you might not be successful now, but if you continue to do it for X number of years with your passion, definitely you will succeed. Let's move to the next one. This is by Rajshekar Reddy. He's asking, what do you think about the Google Pixel 3 XL and the Pixel 3? The Pixel 3 XL, we have been getting quite a bit of rumors. It's been rumored that the front-facing camera on the Pixel 3 XL will have a dual camera setup. So looks like one might be the normal vision and other might be the wide vision. And I'm excited about that because if it's a wide vision camera, it'll be a lot easier to vlog stuff with it and you can capture a lot more. And again, as Google is doing, it'll have stabilization and stuff. Moving to the rear facing camera, it's been rumored that the Pixel 3 XL will still have just a single camera setup, which is actually very surprising because I thought Google will now go with the dual camera setup and do something very interesting. And yes, the Pixel 3 XL will also have a notch. So that notch design is going to come out with Pixel 3 XL. And I'm pretty excited to see what Google does with the Pixel 3 XL. But yeah, it's still quite a bit of time before we see that product. And I hope this time the quality control and the panel that they use should be good enough because frankly speaking, the Pixel 2 XL, I like the device, but the build quality, if you compare with other flagships, was not that great. And still, I don't like the screen quality on the Pixel 2 XL. I have the Pixel 2 XL. So I hope Google fixes those hardware issues. And yeah, I'm still excited to see because we know Google, with the camera, they will be doing something interesting. This is by Gaurav. He's asking, which one should I go for, the Galaxy Note 8 or the OnePlus 6? Camera is my highest priority. I didn't do a side-by-side comparison of the camera with the OnePlus 6 and the Note 8. But when I use the Note 8, again, watch my in-depth review of the Note 8 to get its pros and cons. I would say the Note 8 camera was actually really good, and I think so it might beat the camera of the OnePlus. So if camera is your highest priority, Note 8. But again, now the Note 8 is actually pretty old, and in next couple of months we should be seeing the Note 9. And I think so Samsung is going to do something interesting with the Note 9 because the competition now has become very aggressive. So if I were you, I would wait. I won't go with the Note 8 now because it's almost at the end of its life cycle, and Note 9 is going to be it's going to come out in the next couple of months. This is the next question. This is by Sanket. He's asking, for dual 4G Volte, is there any physical component that is required included in the processor itself? Is there a possibility of getting an OTA update on the OnePlus 5T to get dual 4G Volte? Regarding the first part of the question, yes, the processor and the chipset needs to support functionality of dual 4G Volte. It should have proper radio. So hardware is actually required for true dual 4G Volte functionality. So yes, it just can't be implemented with a software update. Yes, it can be implemented with a software update if already the hardware is actually present. For example, the OnePlus 5T, I don't recall if the Snapdragon 835 chipset supports true dual 4G Volte, but the Snapdragon 845 chipset, which is coming with the new phones, does support that. So yes, you actually need a hardware support to enable a dual 4G Volte functionality. And this is by Happy Go Lucky. Kindly differentiate between the three latest Snapdragon chipsets. Okay, the Snapdragon chipsets actually fall into 4 variants. The base variant are the 200X series, the Snapdragon 210, 25, but these are sort of rubbish. Don't go with the smartphone that comes with the Snapdragon 200 chipset. The performance is very bad. Actually almost junk. So again, avoid smartphones if you're buying that come with the Snapdragon 200 chipset. Next is the Snapdragon 400 series of chipsets, and these are, I would say, budget oriented chipset, but they have decent performance. And for example, we have the Snapdragon 425, 430, 435, and the latest one is the Snapdragon 450, which its performance is actually really good. And some of the new ones, for example, Snapdragon 430, 450, etc., are having an octa-core processor. So these are used in budget-oriented smartphones, and they have good enough performance. Next, if we move slightly ahead, then is the Snapdragon 600 series of processor. The earlier variants had a lot of problems in terms of heating, like for example, the Snapdragon 615, 610, etc., had a lot of heating issues. But after the 625, that was on the 14 nanometer FinFET technology the heating issues were solved, and I would say after that the 625, 630, now the 636 and even the 660 are very powerful processors. And in fact, I would say the 660 is actually very powerful processor. So you're getting if you're buying a smartphone with the Snapdragon 6X series of processor, you're going to get very good performance, almost flagship type if you're going for the Snapdragon 660. So these are the chipsets that are available, and that's the reason that you see a lot of powerful mid-range smartphones using the Snapdragon 625, 630, or the new series that are the 636. That's based on the powerful Cryo cores. That's with the Snapdragon 636 and the 660. And now we have the new Snapdragon 700 series, which is, I would say, a slightly more powerful variant of the 600 series. And lastly, we have the flagship series that is known as the Snapdragon 800 series. And actually, these are the most powerful ones. For example, the new Qualcomm chipsets. So for example, last year it was the Snapdragon 835. Now the most powerful is the Snapdragon 845. And Qualcomm packs all of their latest technologies in this one. So if you are going for the one of the highest performance, the flagship phones will be using that. So yeah, that's how it goes. 200 series, 400 series, 600 series, and on the top end we have the 800 series. I hope it helps. Let's move to the next one. This is by Nirod. He's asking, you never pick up my question, why AMOLED display is needed for in-display fingerprint scanning? Why it does not work with other display? Yes, we are talking about how, Vivo implemented this in-display fingerprint technology with their smartphone. Actually, the thing is that the chip which detects your fingerprint is beneath the display, and for it to work, actually the phone has to light up your finger, and then this sensor actually reads it. With a traditional display like IPS, etc., it gives the light from the side. So again, it is not possible. But with the AMOLED screen, the actual pixels actually light up. They don't need any backlighting for the lighting. That is the reason for these in-display fingerprint technology, AMOLED is used, because the individual pixels can actually light up themselves. They don't need any external support. That's why in this Vivo X21 and some of the upcoming smartphones that have this in-display fingerprint technology, they are using the AMOLED display. I hope that answers your question. And this will be the last question. This is by Darpan Bose. He's asking an interesting question. Do you think that phones like Vivo Apex and rumored Lenovo Z5 having 95 screen to body ratio are the future of upcoming phones? Yes, in the mock-ups that we have seen with the Vivo Apex, that's going to launch very soon. And even the Lenovo Z5, we are seeing almost bezel-less design in those smartphones. And this is very surprising. Again, I'll give the example of Vivo X21. I thought this in-display fingerprint technology would be first commercialized. This is a commercial phone. This is the Vivo X21 that you can buy that has this technology. And I thought Samsung or Apple will be the first to bring this sort of technology with their smartphones, but it was Vivo. And it's sudden to see that Samsung and even Apple are not doing cutting-edge work in terms of design and putting out new innovative stuff. And companies like Lenovo and now this Vivo that I never expected are coming out with smartphones that have this cutting edge technology like in-display fingerprint scanner or almost bezel-less displays. So yeah, that's very surprising. I thought Samsung and Apple, which have a lot of money, would do that, but they are just taking a back seat with this cutting edge innovation. So anyways, guys, these were the 15 odd questions for this tech Q&A session. Again, guys, if you are still not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care, guys.